Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ladies POV. For those of you who are new to us here, we are a panel of ladies who would like to hit on multiple topics, current events. We also like to throw some education and some fun and some laughter in the mix. If you're watching us now, or if you come on later, we would like for you to take a second and like and subscribe, and then make sure you come by and see us every week and comment and let us know what you think and anything you'd like to see or any ways you'd like a change. My name is Devin, and I am also joined by Rue
Hey,
and Courtney Nicole.
Hey everybody.
How are you ladies this evening?
of course, Peachy.
glad that Christmas is over.
You glad it's over?
Yes.
I'm glad. I've been waiting on it to be done.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to host. I didn't have to. I hosted Christmas this year with family, so that gets a little stressful. Mainly because I'm always anticipating the cleanup when everybody leaves, having to clean my house and
Yes.
launder all the bedding and all that stuff. So, other than that, though, we had a whole lot of fun. I didn't think it was going to happen due to the obvious, but they didn't want that to let them not come and visit everyone because we've kind of put everything off, as you know, the whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Due
think
to
we were more fortunate in Texas where we didn't get shut down, where people were like, "Oh, you can't go to so and so's house; they got the corona." So I'm
Was that a Jersey accent, Rule?
glad.
They got the
she did
Rona.
throw some of that in there. She did. But speaking of shutdown, Rue, you know, oh, if those of you who have not heard, there is a new strain of the actual coronavirus that has been widespread in the United Kingdom, and CDC is believing that it may actually be in the US. And they think it may be contributing to this new spike in numbers, et cetera, et cetera. And it also may lead to a second shutdown. I would say a second shutdown for Texas because a lot of the other states have already, had a second shutdown and, different things like that. But for they were saying there could be a possible shutdown in Texas. What do you ladies think about that new strain? Are you like scared, crazy now?
No,
I'm just over it. Like I'm tired of devoting my emotional energy to COVID and coronavirus and precautions. I work in retail and I work in one of the largest malls in the country. And we literally, I'm one of the store managers, and we literally had to shut our store down early because some kids, like it's been happening all over the country. If you look at the news, kids, like groups, like literally hundreds of teenagers coming into the mall, assaulting customers,
What?
assaulting each other, assaulting security, police. So I'm bringing that up with the COVID thing because I feel like everybody's just so restless at this point. And in over here, a lot of the extracurricular activities and sports and things of that nature have been taken away. So it's just a lot of people and a lot of kids with pent up energy, and I'm just tired of devoting my life to COVID and coronavirus. Like, I'm just over it.
I say that. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't
Don't.
worry about it, sweetheart.
I'm so tired of this mess. First of all, we already know that it was man-made. They sat in that lab, fiddled with it, and then they put it out. They put it out and caused mass chaos. And that's what they
Yeah.
got.
Okay,
Mass,
nails. I see you, nails.
huh?
I see
Oh,
you,
I
nails.
know, right? I know. Super cute. Wow.
can't do it. Oh,
That means period. When you had those nails, that's like period.
yes,
Hey,
sir.
Kendrick. Hey, Shantae. But yes, I'm loving those nails, Rose. Sexy, sexy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like so sick of this right now because, I mean, scientifically, viruses that can mutate and that can jump from animal to human are usually man-made. Like you make that. That doesn't happen in nature by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to sit there and say it's a new strain, oh, it evolved. That means you made it. You made it evolve. I'm not gonna bite it. I'm not feeding into this. They knew exactly what they were doing. They came out. They marketed this whole, oh, we got a vaccine for this in 11 months, and then turn around and, oh, you need to take it now because there's a new strain of coronavirus and you need this vaccination now. It's bullshit, and they're trying to get our dollars. That's all that is.
I totally agree. I have no fear of it. I do believe that I do believe the numbers only because I see it firsthand. I don't think that a second shutdown in Texas is necessary because from researching, I've noticed that the states where they have shut down, the numbers haven't changed. Like their numbers aren't any better than our numbers where we haven't shut down. And when I say that, I'm thinking more of the um, like California. You know what I'm saying? They still have pretty high numbers, and they've been doing this huge shutdown for the longest. And so I don't think shutting down really makes a difference. I just think it's about how you walk and what you do during that shutdown. Like Courtney was saying, you can shut down a lot of places, but when you have restless teenagers and restless young people who don't care, yeah, they may not be going to the restaurants and the malls, but they're still having house parties and doing whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it. And so I don't really think shutting down would make a difference. And as far as this new strain, we get a new strain of flu virus every year, which is why they push the flu vaccine every year, because what they tell you is we gave you the vaccination against last year's strain. So now you need to take a new vaccination this year because there's all of a sudden now this new mutated strain. So now because I'm hearing this thing about this new strain, I'm wondering if that's going to be the new trend for COVID, because I'm in the medical field, but I am so anti big pharma. Y'all, you don't even understand. I think it's all like a money grab.
Yeah.
They have our best
Big
interest
time.
in mind. I don't think they care about really what's going on. I think that if they could push these vaccinations on us, because they may not be getting the money from, say, myself personally, because I work in healthcare, but someone's paying for it. It's not free. You know what I'm saying? So I really believe that that is what it is. And I also am more like Rue, where I say, let's just not even worry about it and just go on with our life and see what happens. Because I don't know how I feel about that new strain, because I also haven't heard that there's a increase in deaths in relation to this new strain of virus. I haven't heard that they've created a vaccination against this new strain. I've actually heard the contrary, that the vaccination that we're receiving now will also cover this new strain of coronavirus.
They knew about the new strain to have it magically be able to be back. I can't.
But Shantae asked a question down there, and she said, aren't they kind of extrapolating or guessing which strain it will be for the flu shot based on, I guess, previous information? Like, how does that work? I don't know.
I think they do guess, because if you receive the flu vaccine, you end up with the flu, like myself and my boyfriend did, like last year. The first thing they say to you is, well, obviously the vaccine you got was for a different strain. You must have come in contact with a different strain of this virus, or because you were vaccinated, the strain that you have is probably not as severe as it would have been if you had not received the flu vaccination.
They just say anything, child. They just say anything. Can I back up though? As far as like the shutdowns go, I feel like we never actually shut down. Like, I think that's why it seems like the quote unquote shutdowns are ineffective. Like, you have people like myself who are essential workers, and going into the whole stimulus situation and relief packages and things of that nature. I think our government, has just handled this whole pandemic so poorly. If you compare us to the rest of the world, I mean, obviously, United States, we like to be number one in everything. So of course we have to be number one in COVID deaths, right? So it's like we never actually shut the country down like most other places did. We never closed our borders. We never shut down all businesses except literally hospitals and food. Like we never did that. So, and we couldn't do it because there was no relief coming from the government really, and now, we're seeing that Donald Trump has not signed that relief package. It's just kind of plummeting us into even more dire straits. So it's just the whole thing is just a hot mess.
I agree, and I don't. Of course, that's a whole nother rabbit hole that we can climb down as far as that relief package. But I was quite shocked because he's about to exit, so he does not give a you know what, and he's just letting all the cats out of
the bag, all the bags,
where all the money goes. And he didn't say that with the last stimulus.
Oh Lord!
But now he's like, I'm gonna tell you everything. What else you want to know?
He said $2,000, psych.
So I don't, I kind of feel bad for anyone who was expecting that stimulus.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. I definitely
expecting the last one, don't they, Rue?
And I didn't get it. So
yeah.
But for those people who were actually looking forward to the $600, even though they deserve times that amount, I really feel bad because now it's very unlikely to not happen. And now with the new vaccinations rolling out, I think a lot of this is going to eventually just be swept under the rug, especially as we enter the new year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm Courtney with you. I am over it. I am over everything COVID. I have caught myself almost walking into places now without my mask on, and then Karen will give me an ugly look, and then I'll turn around and walk back to my car and get it. I'm just
over it.
I am so over it. And whatever this new strain is, like you said, someone probably created it to increase the hype all over again. And I'm over COVID, and I'm over kind of the year. 2020 has lasted about 5.6 years.
Yes. Take me now.
And normally when you go into like a year in review, as far as like everything we've been through, there's like so many things that you can like name off that we've been through. But since we've basically been on lockdown and things have been kind of uneventful all year, I think we can sum up this year in review pretty quickly.
There's a Cardi B meme.
Coronavirus and Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
But if you go back to the beginning of Black Lives Matter and coronavirus, do either of you ladies think we have made any progress, or do you think we have regressed? What do you think have happened in those two major areas? And if you could think of anything else as far as going into the year of review of 2020, kind of speak on that as well.
As far as Black Lives Matter, this is an ongoing struggle, right? Like this is just something. Yes, it's like a brand now. Black Lives Matter. It's the brand, but it's just something that is in our culture, is ingrained in our culture. I'm very happy at the conversation being held, right? But I want to see more meaningful actions being taken. Like what is going on with Breonna Taylor's case? Like I did see that people were asking Joe Biden to take action against Daniel Cameron in Kentucky. I did see that, but what is happening? I see that there is a lot more Black representation in media, but like, is it meaningful Black representation, or is it just like, here's a Black person, be quiet, shut up, you're there now? You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm happy at the strides that we've made, but we just have to keep on striving. I think it's just going to be an ongoing thing.
What about in the area of coronavirus? Do you think we've made any strides?
We have no control over coronavirus.
No.
How they market it doesn't matter. It doesn't They're gonna do whatever the hell they want to with the coronavirus. They're gonna cause mass hysteria, or they're gonna say, "Hey, black people, come get our vaccinations." Like what? We ain't got no control over that shit at all.
Yeah,
Okay, so if you review the year as a whole, Rue, where are you kind of with that? Do you think we've made any strides as far as even the Black Lives Matter movement?
The only thing Black Matter did was bring attention to people that wanted to be a part of the fad. That's it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be that person that's just gonna say, I get what the Black Lives Matter movement started as, but that's not what it is now. And it irritates the hell out of me. It's because everybody wants to be going in the streets screaming at the top of their lungs, but they're not going in and taking a part of our legislature, or they're not actually making a difference. They're just jumping on the bandwagon and thinking that this is going to do anything, and talking is not doing nothing. We need actual solutions to the problems. And most of the generation nowadays doesn't even know what their problem is. So I'm sorry, but the Black Lives Matter movement, it irritates me. It always has. Especially saying it's funded by a freaking rich white dude. It's not even with our people anymore.
Do you think it was politically based?
Yes, it's very politically based. Any campaigning that's done by the Black Lives Matter movement funds the Democratic campaign, whoever's running. And those Democrats ain't even for us. So I'm not on that one. I'm not gonna jump that bandwagon. I like the whole marching. And then when you have the people that are peaceful protesting, you have freaking assholes out there that ruin it by trashing and looting and doing all this other stuff, and it negates the issue. Like you're sitting there, oh, you see these protesters, you see what they do to your own neighborhood? That's not us doing it. If you turn the camera, there's white folks doing that shit. I get irritated.
I mean, but I think I also think that it's kind of counterproductive sometimes. It feels counterproductive to ask people to participate in government that obviously does not have you in mind. It wasn't written for us, and it seems like the language that this government and this culture and this system and this society understands is violence. You know what I mean? So when things were burning down and people were rioting and looting, I was like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, this is what y'all understand. So now this is where we are.
But they don't understand that.
But how much airplay did it get though? Because they definitely felt a way about it.
Spun into negative. Like sure. It was us doing
but
it.
There was nothing that we could do. Talking about this subject, there was nothing that we could do to be viewed positively. Nothing. So I will speak to you in the language that you understand.
But do you think that a lot of the people that were doing the looting, the chaos, do you think a lot of those individuals were actually advocating for the Black Lives Matter movement, or
no,
they were just bored and just doing shit?
Yeah, I think there were people that were planted. I think so, for sure. I mean, but that again, because it's all about that respectability politic and, saying, oh, this is what Black people do. They destroy things and things of that nature. But at the same time, it is what got people to pay attention to it. And it is what got people talking about it, because us marching in the streets, us stopping traffic, us voting, us participating in government, it's moved the meter, sure. I'm not going to say that it hasn't, but the fear that people had, it didn't incite the fear. And that's what you need to move the meter. It's the fear. Because that's how, like I said, that's how this country operates. I mean, when we go back in history and, they talk about the American Revolution, what's the first thing they teach you about? The Boston Tea Party. That was a riot, boo-boo. That was a riot. So, I mean...
Yeah, but they were destroying the enemy's property. They weren't destroying their own property.
That's not ours. None of that stuff was ours. None of that. That Target, that AutoZone, none of that stuff was ours. We utilize it, but it wasn't ours though.
But that's what they're promoting though. That's what I'm saying. They're
promoting to who?
Those businesses that are put in those urban communities.
Right.
That your mom and pop shops, that mom and pop shops, that's what they're airing. They're saying, hey, you're destroying your own mom and pop shop. They're not saying you're destroying Target or you're destroying Walmart.
Right, but they didn't, and
Bank.
that's the thing. But that's the thing. Are those people active in the community? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I know people, and I know people on the ground, and literally they would skip over businesses that help the cause and businesses that were active in the community and go to the next building. So this is what I'm saying, like, yes, to mass media and to people maybe who are not involved and people who don't know those people and people who are not in the struggle. Yes, maybe to outsiders looking in, it does look like just overall destruction, but it really wasn't. And that is what I'm saying. Like, it's all curated. That's what I feel. It's all curated.
I understand that it's all the narrative, but my point is, whenever you get the ignorant folks out there, that's what the news and the media is gonna highlight.
The media portrays all the negativity. That's what they flourish on. As
Black people, as the community, we have to be smarter than that. I like the fact that they turn the camera and say, hey, look at these white people doing this shit. It ain't us. Promote that much of that perception.
What do you think would have? What do you think that anything that we would have done at that point in time would have been portrayed positively? Because I don't think there has ever been a time in media where Black people have taken a stance for themselves and the media has turned around and said, look at them, you go guys, we're with you. Never.
Yeah, because the corporations buy the media, but if you're showing nothing but the peaceful side and don't show those, like, we need our own news station. Like, we need our own media outlet so they can see, hey, this isn't us. I'm not relying.
Who is they though? Who is they?
I'm not relying on NBC. I'm not relying.
Who is they though, Rue? Like, who do you want to see this?
I want our own people to see this so they can stop being ignorant.
But what I don't understand, to me, it's not ignorance. To me, this is how Black people have gained their freedom throughout history. I mean, you look at your Nat Turner, you look at Haiti. Like, do you know why the international slave trade stopped in the United States and why it became illegal?
That violence needed violence. They were killing.
Why does this not need violence? Because we're getting killed still.
Because we're still doing the same thing. You're not going in as politicians and judges and freaking doctors, and like we're just now getting into the mode where we're taking our children and we're saying, hey, you could be better than, you know, just a car mechanic, or you can be better than an NFL player. Like, we're finally getting to the point where we're teaching our kids that, hey, give back to our community, be bigger than that.
So we have to wait.
And that looting is the only answer, or screaming in the streets, that's the only answer. It's not helping it.
I never got the impression that was the only answer. I got the impression from what I viewed and from what I saw that Black people were freaking tired. Like, why? I feel that every single generation from our great grandparents on gave their children the message, you can be better. You can be better. You can do better. We're always striving. That has always been the message. That is, again, part of our culture. But the one thing that Black people on this soil, modern day, have not done yet is fuck some shit up. And I think that's where people need to move. It seems like that's the only thing they understand. And it's like, yo, if this is not what you understand, then show me what you understand. Show me, because this is what you're doing to me. I learned this from you.
It's actually it's mutiny that got them somewhere.
Right. How is this different from mutiny?
Your fellow brother and your fellow sister and actually getting together and working as a cohesive unit. None of Black people have done that. The people that actually made it, they created a network. Harriet Tubman, the Underground Railroad.
There are networks, though.
A network. We
have networks, Rue. We have them, but why would I get on social media and tell you about my network? Why would I go on the news and tell you about my network?
Courtney,
there are networks.
I get what you're saying, but I believe that what has changed, what has kind of pushed the needle in a different direction over the past has been doing it the opposite way. Like, for instance, I'm going to go back to even Martin Luther King and when he marched. I believe that what started to try to kind of shift the needle was I think the people who were non-black looked at the television screen and they were like, oh my God, these people are being peaceful. They're just asking to be treated the same way. They're just wanting this and they're not doing anything. And people are abusing them, being mean to them, being cruel to them. This isn't acceptable. This has to stop. Even the president at that time his whole thing was, we can't allow people to see this on TV, these black people marching and non-black people, because it wasn't just us who marched. First of all, we can't allow TV to see these people marching for equality and marching for equal rights and humanity and things like that. And these people who are opposed to it are kicking them, punching them, hosing them, things like that. So they started to the needle started to kind of move when people felt like it was wrong. There was like a sympathy that we were able to receive, and we allow people to see that this is so wrong. So I do believe that we got people's attention by tearing it up and burning it. That definitely got people's attention. But here's the thing. The attention we got is the Justice Department was like, oh my God, let's start to look at the laws related to a no-knock warrant. Let's start looking at the laws of a no-knock warrant. So then maybe everybody will sit down and be quiet. But let me tell you what it also did. It made those people who are racist, and I don't want to call them Trumpers because not all Trump supporters were racist. Some of them were just Republican and were quiet. A lot of them were racist. Some of them were just Republican. But here's the thing though, but it made those individuals do the whole, but you see what we were talking about? They act like this and they do that and they tear this up and they burn that down and they're no different and da da da.
But you know what, Devin? But I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know that I keep interrupting you guys, but I'm very passionate on this. They will say that whatever we do, that will always, Black people being well behaved has never gotten to the root of the issue, which is those people in power satiating us for the moment so that we continue to labor for them, work for them, create wealth for them.
I get
that is what that does.
But what I was going to say is, yes, the marching didn't do the most. The violence didn't do the most.
I'm not taking away from our ancestors. I'm not that person that will take away, because they did what they could with the tools that they had. So I just want to be very clear on that. But what I am saying is, the reason I'm arguing this so hard is because I just want us to let go of the respectability politics that's involved in us getting freedom.
But Courtney, listen to this though. Listen to this.
Okay.
In my opinion, the only way we're going to change this narrative is to change the leaders.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what we do. If the people who are responsible for making the decisions, if the people who are responsible for creating the laws, if the people who are responsible for changing the minds of so many people are not in the right position, it doesn't matter. We can peacefully protest. We can burn it up. We can do whatever we want to do. If the people that we look to change the narrative, meaning our lawmakers and people who sit in our Senate seats and things like that, aren't the right individuals, it will never change. I am one of those advocates who believe that we need to start voting for and looking at the people that we are putting in those positions of power. I don't think burning stuff down and tearing stuff up was the right way to go. It got the attention that we wanted to get. I totally agree. And I do believe that people were frustrated and angry and, okay, you don't want to hear me when I'm quietly marching, because the media doesn't even want to show that. You don't see that on TV. Those weren't the broadcasts that you saw on television. You saw the worst of the people beating up people and shooting people. That's what they showed, but it doesn't matter. I think we have to start from a totally different place. And let me also talk about these so-called pro-Black people that are in positions of power and that have a lot of money. And I'm gonna start going after like some of the athletes, some of the artists, some of your rappers and your singers. They have the money to put where their mouth is. They want to walk around with these Black Lives Matter shirts on and hats and things like that, but they aren't putting their money where their mouth is. They aren't putting the money in the places that can campaign for these people who are going to help us. That woman who sat up there and got all those votes and all those people to vote in Atlanta, people with money and people of power have the ability to get that woman in a position in office to make change. But the people who have the ability to do it, they cannot. Myself, you, Rue, I don't want to call us little people because we do have a voice, but our voices are not as large as like an Oprah or
Sure.
a P Diddy and the people who have, because money makes the world go round. Let's be honest. But those people who are in positions of power, I think they're all full of shit. We passed the 15-minute mark. They're full of shit. They say that, but they want the people in office who are going to be the best for. They want people who are going.
Interest.
Exactly, and
Absolutely.
It's not. They don't care what's happening in Dallas, Texas, in South Oak Cliff, in that school district, in that neighborhood, and those kids with the poor school system and they don't care. They're not putting money into those neighborhoods and into those seats and different things like that. They don't care. All they care about is that the government is taking 50% of their money in taxes, and so now they can't buy their second home in Malibu. So we can yell, scream, and holler as much as we want, but it's not going to change anything. Now, I do think we made progress as far as the Breonna Taylors and things like that, because they did force them to take a look at the laws that they have in place so that we can possibly avoid this happening again. But I also think Black Lives Matter was a season. I think it was a fad. I think it was a trend. And I think that once Trump is gone, it's going to fade away and nobody's going to talk about it again until something bad happens or until the next election. Because if you really want to be real about it, ever since the election has been over, are you still seeing the Breonna Taylor banners and hashtags? And you don't even hear about it as much as you did before. It's almost like it's just gone away. Yes, the family, I think, was financially compensated, but there was still no justice for it. And even the celebrities who were marching with cameras and all that for their own agendas, they aren't even talking about it anymore unless you're watching Housewives. And that's only because it was filmed months ago. But today they're not doing anything. They're posing in their Louis Vuitton and talking about buying $80,000 bags and $800,000 cars. I think we're fighting a losing cause. We're fighting a losing battle unless something different happens, unless we learn that we have to stop voting for these presidential elections and start voting for our local.
Right. And actually working collectively as a unit. It's so we can't collab by ourselves. We can't be individuals. Like, if you notice the way we're raised, it's like, oh, get your money, but you're getting your money for yourself and your family. If you took 10, just like the Indians do, like the Koreans do, the what's the other one?
Jewish people.
Yes, they take 10 families, put them together, and they say, okay, we're going to put money in a pot, and then we're going to build this business, this business, this business, this business, and we're going to take that money and we're going to feed everybody. Black people don't do that. Why? Because we're all trying to come up ourselves. If I'm telling you, take your best friend, take your cousin, and then we tell ourselves that, oh, you don't do business with family. Why? Everybody else does. Everybody else does. So why can't we build our communities, take a plot of land, build a bunch of houses on it, make sure everybody eats, and then we can work on building, where we have our own mayor, where we handpick that person out of our own little 10 people. Like, there are vacant land everywhere that, like ghost towns. You could buy a ghost town with 10 families and create your own little community, own little city, and then flourish from there. That's how white folks got started, and they did it on our backs.
But can I tell you why that can't happen today? Because not everybody thinks that way. Not everyone of color thinks that way. If I had $1 billion and I bought a neighborhood and I put 20 houses on it and I said, I want to start this off with 20 Black people and we're going to build 20 Black businesses. There's going to be 5 that go against everything I stood for and that take advantage of everything that I stood for. and that take it and try to sell it to somebody or take it and try to do something dirty with it. So I really believe that it starts from the top down. And Shantae is right. What she says is both a race issue and a class issue, and that we have to attack it from both ends. And I do believe that we do well at attacking the race issue, right? We're very vocal about
Yeah.
it, but we don't do well with attacking it from a class issue because the people that are the upper echelon of class don't give a damn.
Nope.
They
Well,
say
and that's I
they
think
say
that's
all the right
a
things, but they don't put them they don't follow up with it.
I think also too, real quick before we move on,
Yeah.
we tend to speak about ourselves like we have this fatal flaw, like we just can't do right, like we just can't, but we never address the systemic causes and the environmental causes around us that cause us to have that thinking and that behavior.
No,
And
I think we do. I think we do know that there is a huge systemic problem. We just don't
Mhm.
know what to do to fix it.
Right.
So
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
what's
Okay.
up?
So I'm gonna say this. I wasn't raised in that mentality. And the reason why, I guess military communities are a little bit different because we see people from all walks of life. So I don't have that I feel like it's a screen. Like
Yeah.
that very stunting to have that mentality. Because I feel like if you always think of yourself as a slave, you're gonna stay a slave. So
I don't think of myself as a slave at all.
say
But what I'm saying is that there is a lot of chips stacked against us. For instance, I'm just going to give you a very simple example. Your property taxes determines the level of education that your children receive. So if I live in a low income neighborhood, my children have a much higher chance of receiving a subpar education because my property taxes are lower. That's wrong. And that's purposefully done to be a systemic hindrance towards people who are already in poverty, who are more likely to be Black in this country. So again, this is what I'm saying. Like, yes, I understand. We do often come from a place of lack, and a lot of times, yes, it does seem like, well, if we would just do this, then it would be addressed. But it's not always that simple. And when you have people, I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit too compassionate, but I just kind of feel like sometimes we always say, well, I can't do that with Black people because they're going to mess it up, or they're going to, like, there are systemic reasons that people do stuff like that, guys.
and that's what I'm saying. I get you on that part where that is stunting when you're like thinking of, oh, why we're systemically, in that rut. I'm agreeing with you with that. I'm saying that I don't think of that because I'm going to give my network the benefit of the doubt. I don't care if they're Black at that point. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, you're stunted because you probably think that you're not going to get anywhere if we try to do this. I'm going to be like, I'm going to pull all my friends together and be like, hey, I got an idea. What do you think? And you'd be surprised at how many like-minded friends you probably already have. They're just somebody to say it and actually be serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow we have to change the narrative, basically. We have to change the narrative and the mindsets of people, and we have to make sure people know that they are good enough. You can do better. You don't have to stay where you are. I think somehow in the school systems, that's a totally different fight. Because Courtney's right.
Schools too. I mean, we already got our historically Black colleges, which is good, but we need to amp up our elementary and actually like come up with our own trade schools. And
HBCUs are so hard to get into. They are so hard to get into. And if you don't already come from a place of wealth and privilege, forget about paying for one. And
okay, so I'm not gonna know that because of course I have the GI Bill and I have veterans benefits and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna know how hard it is with that. So can you explain to me why is it hard to get into one of those colleges?
So okay, I'll give you my own personal experience. I would say that my family was probably like lower middle class, I guess you could say. We made too much money to get financial aid, but not enough money to straight up pay for it. HBCUs are private institutions. So all the tuition, they don't get that government assistance. You don't get those grants and things of that nature. So everything that they have to pay for themselves. So their tuition tends to be higher than, say, a public institution like the one that I graduated from, Temple University in Philadelphia, or even just a local community college. So you have that obstacle, right? Then you also have the legacy obstacle that I like to call it. So if you are an upper class or even an upper middle class Black person, it's probably a little bit easier for you to get into an HBCU because your legacy, and you kind of grew up in that circle with that expectation, with that preparation to be able to get into one of those institutions. Furthermore, I don't know what this phenomenon is called, but me personally, when I was growing up, in my school, I was the smartest kid. I was always volunteered for things. I was always put in the front. I was always the representative for my school in doing things. But when I got to a more competitive level, say high school, and I was able to go to that magna high school, I was nowhere near the smartest kid. I was not prepared. Going back to that whole property tax and all that stuff like that. So I kind of fell by the wayside in terms of education. I was not able to compete with people who were going to HBCUs. You know what I mean? Did I have the capability? Sure, I had the capability, but I didn't have the tools. And I didn't understand the secondary curriculum. White kids learn about the secondary curriculum when they're in school. That is how to create relationships with your teachers, how to go to those office hours, how to get that tutor. Black kids, smart Black kids, I mean, I don't know what you guys' experience was, but for me, it was an embarrassment to go to a tutor. It made my family look like they weren't helping me at home. So I didn't know that going to the tutor was more so about the social networking than it was about the actual education. So this is what I'm talking about, like that whole legacy thing, and having the difficulty and not really having the tools to be able to climb the social ladder like that. Like if you don't know these things off a jump, then you just don't know, and then you end up regular, for lack of a better word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
so over time, y'all. I'm sorry. I just
No, it's fine. I love where this went. It got it. But
Like, cause for us, if I wanted to go to a historically Black college, I could. Like, I go to Harvard right now if I wanted to, because they have a, no veteran is turned down. That's free money for them.
Yep.
So when I was growing up, my mom said, "Hey, you go to whatever college you want to go to." Of course, I didn't, because I'm an artist. But but if I had the option, I would have probably studied. I mean, if I chose it, I would have probably studied law. Like, I didn't know like that hard.
It's really, it is not easy. It's not easy.
Everybody blames you. They blame the people from the bottom about what's happening, but the people from the top aren't helping us get there. It's almost like they're telling us to climb the rope, but then they keep adding more rope to it.
Yeah.
Definitely. But don't mind if I kind of switch it up a little bit. Make it a little bit lighter.
Yes.
I feel like I'm about to do a kumbaya. Okay, y'all. It's almost New Year's. Almost New Year's. We only have a few days, right? We only have a few days. I need to know if you ladies have made any New Year's resolutions, and just for my own personal benefit, because I'm nosy, I also need to know if you eating black eyed peas, because we can't have another 2021.
Yes.
2020.
The collard greens, I made an overflow on Christmas, and I got them in the freezer. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit them beans. I got the ham bone from Christmas, so I'm gonna hit them beans. Okay. Because listen, I need all the lucks. You got some luck. Somebody got some extra luck. I need it.
What's your New Year's resolution though?
Stay Black and pay my taxes. That's it. I can't make no more promises to y'all. Stay Black, pay taxes. That's it.
Rue, what's your resolution?
I don't do resolutions. I go get better every day.
I'm just taking day by day.
Huh?
Just take it day by day.
Every day, because I don't know if I'm gonna wake up in the morning. You never know.
So are you black eyed peas at least? Are you at least eating some black eyed peas?
Oh yeah. So every New Year's Eve, I always make greens, black eyed peas, and then my husband's gonna smoke. I think he's gonna smoke a roast or something. I'm not sure yet.
Oh, I gotta make my way down to Texas. I gotta tell Governor Murphy, I'm violating your shutdown, Governor Murphy, and I'm going to Texas
Well,
because I
Texas,
need some
you'll,
Texas
you'll
smoked
be
barbecue.
you'll be disappointed in Texas because we whatever we want to do here, you're gonna see all kind of barbecues and backyard. We do
I'll
what
be panicking.
we do whatever we want. I
Coronavirus.
I made my own little resolution a long time ago, somewhere mid-year, where I'm gonna, just try to be better than yesterday. That's
Yes.
that's kind of my new thing. I just want to be better than yesterday and try to.
Yes.
And then my goal is to carry that forward into 2021. And I'm also real big on protecting my peace. And I'm going to do much better in 2021 of making sure I protect my peace, whether in all aspects of my life.
Yes.
And then on New Year's, I plan to go ahead and make me some greens and black eyed peas and smother me some pork chops and cornbread. And I'm gonna get real southern and country with it and eat real good because I can't have 2020 lasted 5 years. We can't do that.
I can't do it again, y'all.
We cannot do that in 2021. But I'm not the resolution person that says I'm gonna get in shape for 2021 because y'all know the gyms are full in January, right?
Yes.
Go back in February. And then all the
Right.
gyms are just making money all year on people who won't cancel their membership.
Cause I'm listen, y'all only see me from like the neck up anyway. So I got stretch pants. I don't have no jeans, no nothing what is it? Stretch pants. Period. Like I'm not stressing myself out. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Okay, so if I did do I found out something that actually works. We went to some seminar. Oh, my kid is about to get it.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Anyways, so what I did earlier this year was I put on a card, like just an index card of something that a goal that I want to accomplish. And then on the back, I wrote excuses. Like, what is an excuse that would keep me from accomplishing this goal? And then I put a line through it and I said, well, how do I overcome that obstacle? And basically then it just alleviated everything and it allowed me to realize that I could still accomplish the goal. So then I flipped it back over and I put a date on when I wanted to actually have it accomplished. So if you do have a New Year's resolution and you really feel like you need to reprogram your mind to do it, do that. Put on an index card what goal you want to accomplish, go through the obstacles, go through the solutions, and then write a date, put it in an envelope, and then when that date hits, because you'll put the date on the envelope, when that date hits, open it and see. Girl, I forgot what I had put. And when I opened it, I was like, oh, snap. I did it.
Rue, what's your sign?
I'm gonna make a resolution for everybody watching this and for everybody who will watch it in the future. I want you to just take care of yourself. I want you to learn to be a little bit selfish. I don't care how many kids you have, but if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of anybody else. I am going to encourage Black people, and I'm saying Black people for this reason, to start taking care of your mental health, because there's a stigma in the Black community that if you take care of your mental health, that there's something wrong with you, that you're crazy or stuff like that. And I've been seeing just at my job alone, like suicide attempts and suicide rates are like crazy, right? Especially during this quarantine. So we have to take care of our mental health, and drinking is not a form of medication or stress relief. I like to drink. As you can see, I'm drinking my sangria swirl right now, but I don't drink my problems away.
Right.
I'm going through something that's not where I go. I just believe that we need to start taking care of our mental health. And if we notice something with people in our community or our sister, neighbor, brother, cousin, we can just tell them that everybody goes through things.
Yes.
And it's okay to talk to somebody, even if you talk to myself. I'm a really good listener. I'll let anybody talk my ear off, and I won't even give my opinion or whatever unless you ask me. Now, if you ask me, but I'll just listen to you. You can talk my ear off, whatever makes you feel better by the time we hang up the phone or you walk away from me. That's what I'm willing to do. So that's something I've been doing, is extending myself and opening myself to others as well. Shantae says, I plan to write something good that happened each day of 2021, put it in a jar, and read it December 31st, 2021. I think that's a very good idea. That's similar to what Ruth
Mhm.
said. You probably be like her and be surprised that you've accomplished a lot of goals and you forgot. You forgot about all the good that has happened. But as we know, there are a lot of people who have gone through this holiday season, especially due to COVID numbers, and their mental health has not been good. They're going through grief. They're dealing with things amongst the holidays.
Mhm.
Our fourth co-host, Lucretia, isn't here, and I'm not going to tell her business, but she's got her own things that she has on her mind, and we want to send a prayer up for her and hope that everything's well in her world and everyone else's world. And we miss you, love, and we love you bunches. And Lucretia's fine, by the way. She's just fine. But what do you guys recommend as far as dealing with this holiday grief and depression and stress and whatever we're going through at the end of this year and end of this holiday season going into 2021?
So, this is the first holiday that we've not celebrated with my father-in-law, and my husband has done an amazing job of still going through his day and not showing his grief. So he hides it very well from me. I still have my days where I'm just kind of like, fuck all this shit. I don't want to do it. And the way I kind of got over it is I told y'all last time that this is actually my first Christmas. And usually whenever every year we would do holidays, we would go and spend it with him and his mom, and because I didn't celebrate it, but I still wanted them to be able to celebrate something and my kids be involved and just have a little whimsy. So this time we couldn't go there. So I did it myself. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give them this gift. That's the best that I could do because I had never did it before. So we celebrated and he seems like he's so happy and he really got into it, and we saw lights 2 days in a row. We went to different places, and he right now he's just been being busy, and I could tell like that's his way of not necessarily getting over something, but kind of just putting it on the back burner and saying, okay, I gotta work. I gotta work. I gotta work. I gotta work. And as his partner, my job is to show the love. I'm showing the love. I'm showing the whimsy. So you can work. You can clear your mind. You can come home. You have a safe space. And I can understand and relate that it's hard. And I hate when people, I never noticed this before, but now it's like I hate when people are like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" So I don't do that to my husband. I don't say, constantly, "Are you okay?" It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be, "Are you, you good?" Like he doesn't need a constant reminder of him not being okay, and it's okay not to be okay. So I think for my advice with handling the grief is not getting over it. You gotta let it out. Just that's how we celebrate our ancestors. You know, that's how we make it through the day. We're living, they're watching over us and we're living, and that's all we can do. We can't stop. Like for my my father-in-law motivated me so much just with his spirit. He was always happy. I didn't think that was going to be hard. And he was the nicest person I'd ever met, and he always showed love. So that's how he motivates me. I have to show love all the time, and even more so now because I know that's what he wanted. He just wanted people to show love all the time. And I'm like this so hard person that he motivated me to be soft, like to be more feminine and try to like show that amongst my family. Like that's how I'm supposed to be a partner. So y'all just let it go. Like celebrate your ancestors. Celebrate your family. That's what I'm gonna say. Show love.
Thank you, Rue. I actually appreciate you for that one. That was awesome. Thank you
Let
for
me
that.
get my towel out. I gotta get my towel out.
Courtney, if you can comment.
I'm like, I'm over here like, okay, trying to cry backwards. Um, thank you for sharing that, first of all, Rue, because I felt that in my heart as well. The last couple of years, my family, we've lost quite a few of our cornerstone members of the family, like the people that you always look forward to seeing, or everybody would congregate at their home during the holiday. And I think my advice is just similar to Rue. Just feel it. It's a human emotion. The grief is a human emotion. Something that I do, I like to actually try to keep in touch with my ancestors. And I light a candle, and I literally will talk to them. I will sit there and I will talk and I will have a conversation. My grandmother was our matriarch, and she passed away. I think we're going on 11 years, and I still cry for my grandmother. She was my best friend. But what we do as a family every year on her birthday, we go to her grave and we put down flowers for her. But I also leave her some pound cake, um, some Cools 100 cigarettes, um, some coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, light and sweet with cream. And I dig a little hole and I'll just leave it there for her, as a way to, try to connect back to that traditional belief of showing reverence to your ancestors, and just letting her know, like, I'm here because of you. I am who I am because of you, and really just giving thanks and showing my gratitude. So, whatever traditions that you have with your family, just keep them up. Talk to your ancestors because they're listening. I feel guided. I see her sometimes, like, not see her, but like, I'm like, oh girl, that was a sign. Like, I know you watching me. And just keep them alive in your heart. And they are alive in your heart because of who you are. So just remember that.
I definitely think that you kind of have to feel and you kind of have to sit in it, and if you're able, you have to talk about it. I love that Ruth said not to constantly bombard a person who's going through something. I don't know your husband, but he sounds a lot like me. If I'm going through something and I'm sad or whatever, I haven't learned the ability to feel, to sit in anything yet, right? And so when someone comes at me all the time and it's, how are you doing? And give me a hug. And I'm like, no, I may come across rude or like I'm trying to avoid a certain subject or avoid talking to you, whatever, but that's not what it is. It's just that everyone grieves in their own way. So you have to kind of consider that when someone's going through something. And usually if someone wants to talk to you about it, they will. They'll come to you and they'll speak about it. And you're right. They don't want to hear every moment, are you okay? Are you okay? Because they're not okay. And like you said, it's okay to not be okay. And usually over time, if it's someone that's really close to you and special to you, you'll never forget about them and you'll always miss them and you'll always feel that void. But over time, it gets easier, because at first you don't want to do anything. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to eat. You don't want to drink. You don't want to fuck. Yes, because it's all you think about. Right. And then over time, you realize that that's not helpful to you. It's not helpful to your loved ones. You got to try your best to put one foot in front of the other and move forward, especially if that person was a positive person who would be angry with you almost or disappointed that you're not moving on and living your life and being that positive influence for people. And you know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
sort of fill in their void, whatever you feel like that person's positive attributes were. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we should start thinking of ways to bring that positivity back. You know what I'm, instead of saying, that your grandmother or whomever, she always made sure people were okay. She always called everyone on their birthdays. She always da 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 da. Maybe we need to figure out ways for someone else to pick that up. And so then maybe that's less of a void for your loved ones and your family members, but you have to feel it. And you kind of have to let time kind of help you heal, and help you get through things and just kind of be there, maybe physically for that person, without even saying anything. Just them knowing you're there, and when they want to talk to you, when they can talk to you, that it's okay. That's also very helpful for them to know, for your husband to know that when he's ready to talk, if he ever wants to talk, Rue, that you'll be there and you'll listen because you understand what he's going through, and you're okay with the fact that he's not okay, and you're letting him grieve and mourn in his own way, right? So for this holiday season, I just want to, I don't know if anyone's religious or not, but I just want to, send a prayer out to all those who are going through things, and to kind of let you know that, hopefully over time it will get better. And sometimes you may think a person is not willing to talk to you, not willing to be there for you, but sometimes just reach out
Mhm.
and see the response you get. Because I appear really standoffish, but I'm always available to whomever. That wants. I don't hug because I don't do that touching stuff, but I'll listen to whatever.
6 feet.
But I'm definitely there to listen, and to be there for whomever's going through things. I don't want anybody to ever feel like they have no one. Okay. Do you ladies have any other final thoughts? Or I feel like this is such a
I would also say this sometimes, like with my husband, he's not a big talker. He's like silent big bear. So also keep in mind that some people are not talkers and they just want to be held. They just need to be held. Like just hold them. And they may not even cry, but just to knowing that you're there and you just holding them is enough.
it makes a world of difference. I agree. I totally agree. On a positive note, Courtney, you have any other?
I just want to say to you guys, Happy New Year.
Thank you.
I am so happy to be part of this team, and the TFG family. I love you guys. I love talking to you. I look forward to talking to you. Every week I'm like rushing to make sure I get all my stuff done so I could be on camera and be ready for you. So, thank you guys so much for being yourselves, and Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I'm a Virgo.
Okay, I knew it. She was like, I organize things and I put them in order, and then they're in order.
It's funny though because I'm not like really that organized. Like I have organized chaos. Like if somebody else looks at it, they're like, and I'm like, I know where everything is. Damn it!
Right.
Don't judge me.
I get it now. I get it now, Rue. I wasn't real big on like zodiac signs and astrology, but every time I read on myself, because I'm a Libra and I'm a very balanced human. Very balanced. That's just my life.
I'm a Leo.
Okay, I can see that as well.
Yeah.
I can see that as well. But in final thoughts, guys, I want to say to everyone. I also want to say, what was that, Rue?
What'd she say?
A Leo.
Oh, I can definitely see that.
And that's what I said. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. But I also want to wish you guys a happy holiday and happy New Year. And I'm very proud to be part of this TFG family. It's been an awesome ride, and you ladies are awesome. Lucretia, you're also awesome. The awesomeness. And so I want to wish everyone that. And I also want to say, I need you to eat your black eyed peas. And for those people who keep telling me they don't eat black eyed peas, I don't care. I'm going to need you to swallow a spoonful of somebody's.
Something.
Because 2021 cannot look like 2020. We have to do better.
I'm just going to take our collective black people powers, just eat a spoonful of black eyed peas and take one for the team because we can't.
And then you can go to the greens and the cornbread or whatever else you have. But
yes.
Did y'all have powers?
I sure did.
I feel like I did. I think I'm liking the more awareness thing. I think that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I got my superpower, power of persuasion.
All right, now that can we don't let that go. That's enough. All right, ladies, it's been great. I want to remind everyone again to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, y'all be blessed. Good night.
Good night, everybody.